Most people never live the life they dream of, not because they are lazy, but because they are terrified of what could go wrong. They are scared of being judged, scared of failing in public, scared of chasing something big and ending up with nothing. But fear is not a stop sign. It's just a warning label stuck to the door of every great thing you've ever wanted. If you run every time fear shows up, you'll never find out what was waiting for you on the other side. This video is not about pretending fear is fake, and it's not about waiting until you're fearless before you take action. It's about learning to fight through fear while your heart is racing and your legs feel like they could collapse. Because fear will always shout louder when you're about to do something powerful that might actually change your life forever. And if you let it win, if you listen to that voice, you will spend the rest of your life playing small. Let me ask you something important right now. How many times have you said, "I want to try," but then fear whispered, "You might fail," and you gave up? How many dreams have you buried because fear made them look too big, too risky, or too embarrassing to chase out loud? Fear loves silence. It grows stronger every time you sit down instead of standing up, and every time you stay quiet instead of speaking the truth. You think fear goes away with time, but it doesn't. It waits, and it watches for the next time you hesitate to believe in yourself. Fear doesn't show up when you're doing nothing. Fear shows up right when you're about to become someone you've never been before. And when it does, that's not the time to freeze. That's the time to fight. Because fear is only loud because it's scared of what you might become if you stop listening and start moving forward. You weren't made to blend in, and you weren't designed to spend your life wondering, "What if?" every time you feel afraid. You were built to rise, to speak, to fall and get back up, to chase what lights your soul on fire, and to never settle. Courage is not about being fearless. Courage is about standing up while your legs shake and speaking truth while your voice cracks from doubt. And if fear is still showing up in your life, it means something powerful is still waiting for you to show up and claim it. Let me tell you a secret no one likes to admit. Every successful person you admire has been scared out of their mind before doing something great. They just didn't let that fear become the driver of their story. They felt it, and then they moved anyway. Because here's the truth. If you want to grow, if you want to lead, if you want to win, then fear isn't your enemy, it's your training partner. Fear shows up to test your will, not to stop you, but to make sure you are serious about what you say you want. Think about the first time someone stood on stage and their hands trembled holding the mic, but they didn't run, they stayed and spoke. Think about the athlete who wanted to quit after their injury, but they came back, not because they weren't afraid, but because they were hungry. And think about the parent who started over after losing everything, scared of failing their kids again, but they worked anyway, one step at a time. These are not fearless people, these are fighters. And every fighter knows this simple rule: if it scares you, it matters. The dream that gives you butterflies and cold sweat, that's the one. The opportunity that feels too big, too far, or too risky, that's the one. Because fear will always guard the door to your next level. It is the test before the transformation, the storm before the breakthrough, the gatekeeper before the reward. And no, it will not be easy. But easy never changed anyone. Easy never made history. If you want to live a life you are proud of, you have to be willing to do things that make your voice shake and your knees weak. You have to be willing to stand there, afraid, unsure, and do it anyway. Because the only way out is through. And the only way to grow is to get uncomfortable, to fight back, to keep swinging when everything in your body says, "Sit down." The minute you face it, fear loses power. But the minute you obey it, fear gains strength. Which one do you want to feed? You feed fear by waiting, by hesitating, by choosing comfort. You kill fear by doing the exact thing it told you not to. You have a choice right now to stay in the same safe, silent, small place you've always been, or take the first step into the unknown. And no one can take that step for you. That's the fight. Let me ask you something real. When was the last time you felt proud of yourself after giving up? When was the last time fear made you feel free? Exactly. It never does. Because fear does not protect you, it traps you. It convinces you to avoid discomfort, but it never tells you the cost of staying the same year after year. You think you're being safe, but you're actually getting smaller, one silent decision at a time. You were not born to shrink. You were born to stretch, to stumble, to rise, and to become something more than you were yesterday. And the only way that happens is through the fight. Yes, the fight is hard. Yes, it is unfair. Yes, it hurts sometimes. But you're not fragile. You're just afraid. And that's okay. But fear is not a permission slip to give up on your future. It's a signal that what's ahead might actually matter. That you might be on the right track, even if it scares you to death. So what are you going to do? Let fear write the story again? Or are you finally ready to take the pen back and rewrite the ending yourself? You don't need all the answers right now. You don't need to know how it's going to work. You just need to decide that this time, fear will not win. Because fear has been in your head long enough. It's stolen too many dreams, too many years, and too many chances that were waiting for you to just say yes. So say yes, even if you're scared, especially if you're scared. Because the ones who changed the world aren't the ones who waited until they were ready. They're the ones who moved while they were still scared out of their mind. They just did not stop, and neither should you. Let me explain something clearly, because this might change the way you look at fear for the rest of your life. Fear will never completely disappear, but that does not mean it deserves to be the one steering your direction. The goal is not to become fearless, but to stop letting fear control the choices that shape your entire future. Fear can sit in the back seat, but it does not get to grab the wheel anymore. Because the second you decide that fear is no longer your master, your life starts moving in a different direction instantly. You begin to hear your courage more than your doubts, and your actions start aligning with your vision, not your excuses. You fight through fear, not by avoiding it or pretending it is not real, but by showing up while it screams and walking anyway. And that walk will feel shaky at first, but step by step, your fear starts to fade while your power begins to grow. If fear feels like a brick wall, then every action you take toward your dream becomes another crack in that wall's surface. And with each crack, the fear gets weaker, the illusion gets thinner, and the real you starts to break through the limits. Every time you raise your hand when your voice is trembling, you take back control from fear and give it to your purpose. Every time you say yes to something uncomfortable, you are proving to yourself that fear is a signal, not a stop sign. And every time you choose to stay and fight when everything in you wants to run, you are building unshakable confidence. That confidence is not built by waiting until you are ready. It is built by doing it scared and showing up anyway. One day you are going to look back and barely recognize the version of yourself who used to play small and stay silent. Because you'll be too busy living a life that version of you was too afraid to even imagine. But none of that happens unless you start now, not later, not someday, but right now, even if fear still follows you. Because the truth is, if you wait until you feel brave, you might wait your entire life and still go nowhere. Your life is not a practice round, and you do not get to restart it once fear finally decides to back off. It is happening now, today, in this moment, and your choice to fight or freeze decides what tomorrow looks like. So fight. Fight for your future, for your voice, for your peace, for your family, and for your place in the world. No one else is coming to rescue you, and no one else is better prepared to win this battle than you are today. Even with the fear still there, even with the doubt still whispering, you are enough to take the next step forward. Because when you finally win the fight against fear, you win so much more than confidence. You win your freedom and your future. Let's talk about the most dangerous type of fear, the one most people never even recognize until it's already stolen everything important. It is not the fear of failing or falling or starting too late. It is the fear of succeeding and becoming someone new. This fear is sneaky because it wears the mask of procrastination, overthinking, and perfectionism, while quietly convincing you to never take action. You tell yourself, I am just waiting for the right time, but deep down, you are afraid of what success will demand from you. Because success means change, and change means discomfort, responsibility, visibility, pressure, and a level of growth that your old identity cannot handle. And so, you stay still, not because you are weak, but because deep down, you know your current comfort will not survive transformation. But here's the truth that separates the fulfilled from the frustrated. Your comfort zone is not your friend. It is your slow destruction. It feels safe, but it costs you everything. Your joy, your potential, your impact, your future, and even your peace of mind. The longer you stay in that safe space, the heavier the weight of regret becomes until it quietly drowns your ambition completely. And by the time you realize it, years have passed, and all you are left with is what if and if only. So, let me be the one to tell you what you need to hear today. Fear will not stop knocking, but you can stop answering. You can stop treating fear like a warning and start treating it like a green light, a sign that growth is right ahead. The things you are most afraid to do are the things that will free you the fastest if you are brave enough to start. And no, it will not be easy, but easy does not transform people, and it does not build warriors or create leaders. If you want to become more than what life handed you, then fear is not something to escape, it is something to overcome. And the only way out is through. The only way forward is by facing it, fighting it, and walking directly into your resistance. Because resistance is where your next level lives, and most people never reach it because they turned around the moment it got hard. But not you, not this time. You have come too far to stop and too strong to be broken by old fears. If fear shows up, let it come, but do not let it win, because the fight might hurt, but regret hurts more. Let me make something very clear, because this might be the moment that everything finally clicks for you in a way it never has. The fight against fear is not about becoming superhuman, fearless, or perfect. It is about learning how to keep going when it hurts. You will still feel nervous, unsure, uncomfortable, and anxious. But now you know that fear is not the reason to stop. It is the reason to move. Because fear is loudest right before the breakthrough, and if you stop at that point, you miss the moment everything was about to change. Most people quit just before the shift happens, right before the door opens, because fear convinced them to sit down one more time. But you are not most people, and you are not here to quit, shrink, hide, or settle. You are here to fight. You are here to become the person that fear was hoping would never show up, the version of you that does not back down, the version of you that hears the voices of doubt but keeps walking anyway, because faith is louder than fear when you choose it. Every morning, you wake up and choose to try again. You are winning, even if you feel tired, scared, or unsure about what comes next. Every time you take another step, despite the voice in your head saying, "You can't," you are training your courage to get stronger. And eventually, courage becomes your default setting, not because fear disappeared, but because you got used to walking with it and never stopping. That is the fight. Not some movie scene with music and shouting, but the quiet daily choice to show up and do the work. You win by showing up when no one is watching, by fighting the old voices inside your head until they have nothing left to say. You win by taking one more step, even if it is slow, shaky, and silent, because movement beats fear every single time. And slowly, without warning, you realize something has changed. Not the world, not your past, but you. The way you see yourself now. You are not the same person who used to let fear make the decisions, because you finally remembered who you are and what you carry. You are powerful, you are capable, and you are ready. Not because you feel like it, but because you decided that enough is enough. And once that decision is made, fear loses its grip, because it knows you will not run anymore. Not now, not ever again. Do not wait for the moment when you finally feel ready, because readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision you make in motion. You do not become confident and then act. You act and keep acting until confidence grows from the soil of repetition and discomfort. Most people misunderstand courage. They think it is a gift handed to a lucky few, but it is actually a skill earned in the fire. You build courage the same way you build strength, by showing up, pushing through, and not quitting when the pressure gets heavy. And every time you do that, your identity starts to shift. Because you are no longer just someone who dreams, you become someone who does. The more you move, the more you prove. And the more you prove, the more you believe. And belief is what breaks fear down. Because fear thrives in hesitation, but it weakens every time you take action, even if it is messy, even if it is uncomfortable. The truth is, the fear will still be there tomorrow, next week, next month. So what matters is what you do with it today. Today is the only thing you can control, not the outcome, not the timeline, just your willingness to take the next small step forward. And that is all it takes, one small step, over and over again, until fear realizes it cannot stop what has already started. So stop looking at the mountain and start moving your feet, because climbing is not about being fast, it is about being consistent. And eventually, you look back and realize you are not even close to where you started. You are higher, stronger, and more focused. You fought through what others ran from, and now you carry a story written in grit, perseverance, and a refusal to be broken. You became the kind of person your younger self used to admire, not because you had no fear, but because you kept fighting anyway. And that is what real strength looks like. Not loud, not flashy, just unshakable persistence, built in the shadows where no one clapped. You will not always feel brave, but you can always choose brave, and that choice is what will build the life you deserve. You deserve a life that is not ruled by what ifs, by regret, or by fear that never deserved that much power. You deserve to walk in purpose, speak with courage, move with strength, and live with peace that fear cannot steal from you again. And now you know, the fight was never to make fear go away, it was to remember that you are stronger than it. Let's talk about the moment you've been waiting for. The moment when you finally realize everything you need has been inside you all along. It was never about having more time, money, talent, or luck. It was always about trusting yourself enough to take the first step. Because fear thrives when you doubt yourself, but it weakens when you believe that your future is more powerful than your past. Every excuse you have ever made is just fear disguised as logic, but deep down, you already know what you are capable of. You have made it through pain, through loss, through things you thought would break you, and yet here you are, still breathing, still fighting. That is not weakness, that is resilience, and that resilience is the proof that you are not done, you are just getting started. The world does not need more perfect people. It needs real ones, people who are scared but honest, broken but brave, uncertain but unstoppable. And that is you. Whether you feel it right now or not, you are becoming someone who does not bow down to fear anymore. Every time you said, "I can't," but tried anyway, you planted a seed, and those seeds are becoming strength, focus, courage, and unshakable belief. You are not here to fit in, to shrink, or to settle. You are here to rise, to shine, and to lead. You are here to fight for a life that feels real, meaningful, honest, and free from the grip of invisible fear. So let this be your reminder, not to be fearless, but to fear less, and to fight more, one decision at a time. You may still feel afraid tomorrow, but fear does not get to win unless you give it permission to take the lead again. And you are done handing over your life to a voice in your head that has never built anything but hesitation and regret. So this is it, the beginning of the version of you who finally decided that enough was enough and fear was not the answer. You do not need to climb the whole mountain today. You just need to take the next step without looking back. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from strength, from experience, and from every small victory you have already fought for. Let fear be the background noise, not the volume that drowns out your voice, your vision, and your future. Let this be the moment that something shifts in you forever, because from this point on, you are the one in control. Now that you understand fear does not define you, the question becomes simple. What will you do with the strength you have now? You have already survived enough storms to know that pain does not destroy you. It builds you, sharpens you, and prepares you for more. You have already faced days when quitting seemed easier, but you kept going, and that persistence is exactly what fear cannot compete with. So do not let this be just another video you watch and forget. Let this be the moment that leads to action. Because action is the only language fear does not understand, and every step forward is another blow to the limits trying to hold you. You are not fragile, you are not weak, and you are not lost. You are simply in the middle of your becoming. Every second you spend fighting through fear makes you stronger, wiser, and more ready for the life you were meant to build. This is not about hype, motivation, or fake positivity. This is about truth, raw courage, and the decision to rise no matter what. Yes, it will be hard. Yes, some days you will feel like you are not making progress, but progress is not always loud, and growth is not always visible. Sometimes the biggest victories are the silent ones, like showing up when you wanted to stay in bed, or trying again after failing yesterday. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to stand in the same place where fear broke you last time and refuse to break again. And each time you do that, you reclaim your identity, your voice, and your power from the grip of everything trying to stop you. You are not here to blend in or disappear. You are here to fight, to rise, to inspire, and to walk fully in purpose. So take this moment seriously, because your future is watching, and the next version of you is waiting on the choice you make today. Will you let fear win again, or will you decide that this time, fear does not get the final say anymore? Will you keep shrinking to stay comfortable, or will you stretch, grow, risk, and finally find out who you really are? The fight is not in the spotlight. It is in the moments when no one is watching, and you choose to keep going anyway. That is where your life changes. That is where fear breaks, and that is where your new chapter finally begins to unfold. You did not come this far just to pause again at the edge of the next breakthrough, because fear showed up in your mind. You have fought through too much, cried through too many nights, and survived too many setbacks to let hesitation stop you now. This is not the time to second-guess your growth. This is the time to honor how far you have already come in silence. You have earned the right to keep going, not because you are perfect, but because you refuse to let fear write your story. You've learned by now that fear never really leaves, but it loses power every time you walk forward instead of turning around. You've learned that confidence is built, not bought, and that belief in yourself is something you earn through action, not through waiting. This is the part of the story where the world starts to see what you already knew was buried inside you all along. You are the one who fights. You are the one who breaks cycles, overcomes patterns, and chooses growth when fear begs you to retreat. You are the one who says, "I'm scared," and still moves. You are the one who faces the storm and walks anyway. That is who you are now. That is what you have become, and there is no turning back to who you used to be, not after this. So make the decision today, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. Right now, while the fear is still here, because that is how power is born. The life you want is already possible, but it will never show up if fear keeps answering the door in your place. You were not created to survive in silence. You were made to thrive in purpose, even when your knees shake and your voice trembles. This is your time to rise. This is your time to fight through the fear and finally live like it never had control. And if this gave you even one reason to take action, go watch the next video on your screen right now. It will show you exactly how to keep going and remind you again why you must never stop. You did not come this far just to hesitate again when your breakthrough is only one step beyond the fear that now surrounds you. You have cried, grown, suffered, and survived through storms that would have crushed a weaker version of you, but you kept moving forward anyway. This is not the time to stall. This is the time to push. to trust the process, and to walk into the unknown. You are not a beginner anymore. You are a fighter, and every scar you carry proves that fear has failed to stop you. Fear may still be talking, but it is no longer leading, and that shift is exactly what will change your entire life. You have earned the right to keep going, because quitting now would waste everything you suffered to get to this exact point. Let the world see what fear tried to silence. Let them witness what happens when someone refuses to bow down to self-doubt. You are not here to stay stuck in patterns. You are here to break them, rise above them, and leave them behind forever. Every decision you make from this moment forward is either a vote for your power or a vote for your fear. You cannot serve both at the same time, so you must choose, and today is the day you choose power without apology. Say it with me in your mind. I feel the fear, but I choose to move anyway, because this matters too much. Say it again if you must, because repetition creates belief, and belief is the force that pushes fear back into the dark. You are not broken. You are rebuilding. You are not behind. You are rising. You are not small. You are just beginning. Now go out and show the world what it looks like when someone decides that fear does not get the final say anymore. You are not asking for permission. You are not waiting for approval. And you are not backing down just because it feels uncomfortable. The life you want is on the other side of fear, and every step forward punches a hole through the wall that once trapped you. So fight through the fear, walk anyway, speak anyway, lead anyway, and never again let fear choose what happens to your one precious life. And if this gave you even one reason to believe in yourself again, go watch the next video right now and keep fighting forward. It will show you how to stay in motion, stay in power, and never again forget who you truly are inside. You did not come this far just to hesitate again, especially when your breakthrough is waiting right on the other side of that fear. You have cried, stumbled, fought, and survived everything. Fear threw at you, and that is exactly why you are ready for what comes next. This is not the time to pause or wait for perfect conditions, because perfection is a myth, and waiting only strengthens the grip of fear. You are not the same person who used to second-guess every decision, because now you understand that growth only comes from movement and action. Fear still whispers, but you do not obey it, because you've proven again and again that you're stronger than any story fear ever told. You've seen the damage of silence and hesitation, so now you choose motion, direction, and bravery, even if your legs still feel shaky. Let the world see what fear tried to bury, because your strength is louder, your fire is brighter, and your story deserves to be told. You were never meant to live quiet and invisible. You were built to rise, to stand tall, and to show others what courage looks like. Every time you take one more step, you break the chains of fear that held back generations, and you rewrite what your legacy will be. Your power is not in perfection, it is in persistence, in the choice to keep going when everything in you says stop and give up. Say this to yourself and believe it. I was afraid, but I acted anyway. I doubted, but I moved. I almost quit, but I stayed. Because those are the sentences that build warriors. Those are the choices that shape leaders. And those are the moments that change your life forever. You are not broken. You are rebuilding something stronger. You are not late. You are right on time. You are not done. You are just getting started. And now that you see it clearly, do not turn back. Do not hesitate. And do not ever again let fear sit in control. Let this be the line you draw in the sand, where your old limits stay behind and your real potential finally starts to take the lead. You already have what it takes, and your next step will not be perfect, but it will be powerful if you take it anyway. So fight through the fear, because the life waiting for you on the other side is more real and more worth it than you know. And if this gave you even one spark of fire, go watch the next video right now and keep that fire alive every single day. You did not come this far to stop now, especially not when everything you fought for is finally within reach, waiting for your courage. You have pushed through pain, battled through doubt, and endured more setbacks than anyone knows, and yet here you are, still standing and ready. This moment is not about being fearless. It is about knowing fear is there and choosing to take the next step anyway. Because fear does not disappear when you succeed. It only backs down when you stop giving it permission to control your decisions and direction. Every excuse you once believed was fear in disguise. Every hesitation you've had was fear pretending to protect you while stealing your progress silently. But now you see it clearly and honestly, and with that awareness comes power, the kind of power that no longer allows fear to lead. You were not made to repeat the same cycle of doubt and hesitation. You were made to create, to move, and to lead with fire. You do not need a perfect plan, just a bold decision that fear no longer decides who you are or where you are going. This is the chapter where the old story ends and the new story begins, written in bravery, action, persistence, and daily choices that build strength. You are done shrinking to make others comfortable, done waiting for the right time, and done letting invisible limits define what is possible for you. Say it with conviction. I am not perfect, but I am powerful. I am not fearless, but I am faithful. I keep showing up. Say it again, because repetition rewires belief, and your belief is now stronger than your fear, stronger than your past, and stronger than your excuses. You are not broken. You are building something better. You are not lost. You are learning. You are not late. You are alive. So take the step. Take it now, not tomorrow, not next month, today, while you are still afraid, because that is exactly what power looks like in real life. And if this message sparked even 1 ounce of strength in you, go watch the next video right now and keep moving forward with fire. You did not come this far to turn back now, not after all the nights you pushed through pain, silence, fear, and uncertainty alone. You have already walked through storms that others would have crumbled in, and you carry the strength that fear has never been able to break. This moment is not asking for perfection. It is asking for presence, for one more step forward, even while fear still whispers in your ear. Because fear does not vanish, it waits, it lingers, it tempts, and it tests, but it loses all control the second you take action. The stories you used to tell yourself were never true. They were fear wearing the mask of logic, dressed up as careful decisions. But now you know the truth, that growth lives in the uncomfortable, that bravery is a decision, and that your next level is near. You are not who you were a year ago, or even a month ago, because this fight has refined you into something stronger. And now you are ready to live as the version of yourself that fear never wanted the world to see or hear from. You do not need more time, more approval, or more clarity. You need commitment, one brave step that declares, I am doing this anyway. Let this be the day you silence fear with your movement, prove doubt wrong with your discipline, and answer hesitation with hard-earned self-trust. Say it with power now. I have doubted myself before, but I kept moving forward. I was scared, but I never quit. Say it again until it becomes real, because every word you speak with intention becomes another brick in the foundation of your new life. You are not broken, you are rebuilding. You are not confused, you are becoming. You are not weak, you are waking up. And now that your eyes are open, you cannot go back to the smallness that fear convinced you was safety for all these years. The cost of staying the same is too high, and the price of regret will always be greater than the fear of failure. So fight through it. Fight because your story matters. Fight because your voice is needed. Fight because your future is worth more than temporary comfort. And if this message lit something inside of you, go watch the next video right now and keep rising higher, no matter what fear says.